Now, the Egyptian military and supporters of Mohamed Morsi, they've collapsed in Cairo just overnight, leaving 40 dead and hundreds injured. Joining us now is Zuhdi Jasser. And Zuhdi, just want to talk about the idea that 20% of the Egyptian military budget comes from the United States. Are we funding this? Are we funding this coup right now?
Well, you know, we have to put this in perspective, Charles. The Egyptian people rose up against a dictatorship back in 2011 and had an election in which the Brotherhood came to power. Now, the Brotherhood, the only thing democratic they did was their election. And then after that, they basically put to rest any form of democracy. Morsi dissolved the lower parliament. He put into place an Islamist constitution that did away with minority rights, rights for women and Christians and others. So basically, and then their economy tanked. There's so many parameters of democracy that we did not see. So to say that we were actually, you know, for a year on this program, multiple times, we've talked about actually defunding them when the Brotherhood was running. But we have a White House that says that they're not going to monitor. They don't care what party it is, I guess, whether it's communist, socialist, or Islamist. But now that there's a course correction, this, Charles, was a course correction because 30 million Egyptians rose in the streets and said that the Brotherhood was abandoning democracy, and it was not a democracy. And that's what this is. Now, we have to hold the military accountable to what they do in the next few months.
You know, Zuhdi, it's Elizabeth McDonald here. There's a steady stream of reports coming out about what's going on in Egypt. That what you're saying is exactly right, that the people there do not want Islamist rule. They don't want basically Sharia rule overseeing their daily lives. You have, you know, the Coptics in place, you know, trying to set up a more populist government. But the question is about our aid to the Egyptian government. Most of it does go to the military, and the military oversees the Suez Canal. Retired soldiers oversee the oil industry there. Do you think that there will be a move here in the United States to pull back on military aid when perhaps the government of Egypt really needs it to move forward with democratic reforms?
Well, I think most people are rational enough to know that this is not the right time. In fact, there were signs in the streets of so many of this demonstration that were saying we were funding terrorism, funding Hamas and Iran, and all of this through Egypt's Brotherhood. And now that they finally abandoned the Brotherhood, it's not the right time to do it. I mean, I would actually push Senator Leahy and others that are calling for this redaction in money to say, wait a minute, where were you in the last year when we were calling for pressure on the Egyptian administration to abandon the Islamist rule that the people did not want, and the Senator Leahys of the world were quiet, and now it almost seems like he's backing the Brotherhood, which is completely wrong.
But Zuhdi, let's look forward now. Let's talk about what's lying ahead of us, you know, because, you know, the Monday morning football stuff, quarterbacking stuff we always do. Coming across AP just moments ago, a top Muslim cleric has gone into seclusion and warns of civil war. Are we talking about the possibility of a full-fledged civil war in Egypt?
I don't think so yet. I think you have to look at what there were only tens of thousands in the streets of these Islamists, that their constant MO is to claim victimhood, to stoke violence, because they cut their teeth against dictatorships like Nasser, Sadat, and Mubarak by stoking violence and becoming victims and martyrs. The military needs to not give them that room. I was against the fact that they actually detained over 300 Brotherhood leaders, because that gives them the mantle of victimization. They need to give them the space, which most of the people on the street said, fine, give them the political space, but we don't want them running our government anymore. And that's what we need to be hearing from the Obama administration, is that it's time to finally have an ideological litmus test for liberty in who we support openly and publicly, but not hopefully lead them back to the Mubarak era, which we're seeing a few signs of that we need to call them on.
Absolutely. You know, we don't want to see the show trials or any of that stuff, but to your point, we're all waiting to hear from the White House. Zuhdi, thank you very much. We really lean on you these times, but you always come through. We appreciate it.